Hi folks, Richard Millman for Millman Experience, and I'm Ask USA. I've just put together a little ghosting and movement tape for you to look at. I'm going to dub it and send it out so that you've got some things to do during this coronavirus quarantine. But you could do this anytime. You don't really need to have a quarantine. You could do it at home if you're a long way from a squash court, if you just want to get yourself in great shape. I'm going to try and give you some advice about choreography, about things to think about while you're ghosting. But anyway, also grateful of course to my sponsor Harrow for continuing to support me. Thank you very much indeed, and I hope you enjoy this little Millman Experience tape on movement, choreography, and our great game of squash. Cheers. So we're not going to get stopped by the coronavirus. We're going to get busy and we're going to play. So in this first section, Pat and I are doing a number of shot and a ghost drills. So one feeder, one worker, and you can see here we're working on trying to play a forehand stroke and moving off as I'm hitting the ball. You can see I'm trying to load my legs and then I'm moving away, playing the ghost on the opposite side. So this is the first one, and it's just a shot, a drive, and a ghost. You'll see I'm trying to stay engaged with the ball as I'm moving off of it until I get to the backhand side. So there's lots of these that you can do. We are at normal speed. I'm trying to get that racket prep up as soon as I see that it's a forehand. So as soon as the feeder feeds me, we go on the backhand side, and you can see I'm trying to load my legs before I get to each shot so that I can actually push off as I'm striking this ball. You can see I'm using the strength of my legs to generate momentum and also a wave of energy that travels up through my body, along through the core, and straight into my arm. We are at normal speed again. So this is a little ghosting routine, shot and a ghost with a drop. So you can see as I'm backing off, I'm staying engaged with the ball that I just played, whether it's an imaginary one or a real one, as if my opponent might hit a shot anywhere in the game. And you can see that my feet don't cross over on the way back. It's really important that as you're recovering, you're physically still engaged with the ball you've just played and leaning towards it, staying low, but your right foot is defending the right side of the court and your left foot is defending the left side of the court. This next section is ghosting. You can do a 6-shot pattern, a 4-shot pattern, and I'm giving you both regular ghosting patterns and also backwards ghosting patterns, and also we're going to do some multi-shot ghosting. I'm grateful to my friend Mark Challoner who introduced me to this a few years ago. But you can see here I've slowed it down, and what I'm trying to show is how I'm prepping on the way to the shot. Actually, as soon as I know whether it's a forehand or a backhand, if there was a feeder, And as I'm backpedaling, you can see my right foot is staying to the right side of the court to defend the right side, left foot to the left side of the court to defend the left side. So as you come off the ball, your feet mustn't cross over, because if somebody played a cross court now, you have to be able to go back to that right side. Equally, sorry about the camera angle. As I come back here, my left foot staying to the left side of the court, so I could, if somebody played a cross court, go back to that side of the court. It's really important to choreograph your movement when you're ghosting, to think about potential shots going in any direction. See there again, I'm ready to turn in any direction there. Again, sorry about the camera angle. Here I come back, and I'm going to prep as soon as I see the feed. It's a drop feed I'm imagining there, and then coming off, and you can see at full speed what's happening. Now this is called backwards ghosting. You can see I'm starting from the front each time, and the whole point is that you're pressing your body weight much more severely by doing this backpedaling action. And again, feet staying apart on the recovery so that you can defend both sides of the court. And loading the legs on the way to each shot, not when I get there, but on the way there, so that I'm able to transition into a change of direction. See how much work is being done. You'll find your heartbeat really goes up on this backwards ghosting. Again, very fast back, turn, prep, or prep and turn I should say. Try and prep before you step. And pushing off. Okay, so here's some double ghosting, and the whole thing here is that we're not just working on cardiovascular, but we're also working on strength endurance, and we're beginning to actually get the muscles to do the same exercises multiple times, and that's going to prevent fatigue over a long course of rallies or a long course of a game, because you're doing multiple repetitions of exactly the same exercise. And as you may know, there is a form of fitness which is local muscle endurance, and so it's important to train this repetitional work. Again, trying to keep the feet apart on the recovery so that I could change direction if somebody played the ball in a different part of the court. Yep. So here's backwards ghosting with 3 shots. And again, this strength endurance training or local muscle endurance, really important. Now, any of these ghosting sets could be done for speed, but you only want 10 seconds of work and then a 10-second break, and do that 6 times, and then you would want to do 3 minutes minimum of rest. Sounds like a lot, but we're not trying to fatigue ourselves on speed. We're trying to get full recovery. But the way I'm doing it here is not for speed. I'm doing it here for cardiovascular and strength endurance. Again, accelerating back quick as you can, racket prep, back off multiple times. Now you could do a ghosting pyramid. Good. Where you did both versions. You could do the regular ghosting and backwards ghosting. Here we got Pat working on her transitions. You can see her, she's loading her legs, pushing back as she's hitting the shot, so she's on her way as she strikes the ball, comes out, still leaning towards the imaginary ball so that she's not disengaging with the ball. Remember, primary focus stays on the ball. Peripheral awareness is what is telling you where to recover to, because you should be scanning your surroundings the whole time, knowing where the sidewalls are, knowing where the opponent is, without ever physically, mentally, or emotionally disconnecting with the ball. If where you're going to becomes more important than your connection with the ball, then you're not going to be able to continue in the rally. You become vulnerable. It's very easy to send you the wrong way. Here's Pat again. Nice quick feet. Moving off.
Get that racket up.
Moving off. Moving off. Very nice. Now, if you want to do a ghosting pyramid for a training session, you might well start off with single ghosts and do, let's say, 18 shots of regular ghosting, then 18 shots of backwards ghosting, then do double ghosts for the next set of both regular ghosting and backwards ghosting, then triple ghosts for both, and then come back down through double ghosts and single ghosts. And that's a serious workout. Okay, so this next section is repetitional ghosting. And basically what you're seeing here is something that is both training movements and at the same time producing strength endurance, because if you do a minute on, a minute off of these, and you do 6, 8, or even 10 minutes of this stuff, you'll find that you'll really begin to work the specific muscles required. You can see in all of these, I'm using the racket prep to start. The approach and the stroke is only happening as I start recovering. And it's important to emphasize that the legs always precede the arm. There's this popular thought that somehow or other the follow-through starts the recovery. That's the wrong way around. The legs always start before the racket is delivered, and you can see that here. I'm loading the legs. It starts from my feet and pushing up through the body, and then the weight transference is delivered from the legs, which are the strongest part, into the core, and then eventually through the arm into the racket. That's just simple biomechanics. Okay, now you can see all of these little sections that I'm doing can be done as minute on, minute off. There's no reason why you shouldn't do that. When you do 6 or 8 of those, you'll really know about it. Now these are V-shot routines. Now these can really be done for speed also. You could do 10 seconds with 10 seconds rest times 6, and then a 3-minute break, as we said before, if you're going to do these for speed. But you can also do them minute on, minute off, or if you want to cut down your rest, minute on, 30 seconds off. And it's up to you to determine what you want to do. You could either do a different one each time, or you could, if you want to really do that strength endurance training, you could do a minute on, minute off of each version. You can see here I'm doing the volley version. Okay, again, emphasizing on the return that the feet stay apart. There's no crossing over of the feet on the return, because you need to be available to go in either direction. And if you cross your feet at all, you'll be easily twisted and turned. So you can see I'm loading the legs. You always load the legs as you're getting to the shot before you get to it, so that you've got potential to push off. Okay, these last few are going to be really about strength endurance. And you can see I'm going backhand stroke, forehand hunt. Backhand stroke, forehand front, or forehand stroke, backhand hunt. And again, if you do these things minute on, minute off, you'd be amazed at just how hard your legs work. You can see I'm trying to make sure that my anchor foot doesn't slide. See that as I come back, that anchor foot, the left foot there, is staying in the same place. If it starts sliding up towards my right foot, what happens in a real match is that you're losing distance and efficiency. And it tends to happen if that left leg in this particular instance, it becomes weak and fatigued and it starts sliding through. So you'd be surprised in this drill, although it looks like the right leg is doing most of the work, the left leg is the one that's really getting a lot of training. It's a slightly different one. This is a side-to-side shuffle, which is from the forehand, and you can see as I hit this ball, I'm keeping my eyes on the impact point. One of the biggest mistakes people make on a boast, and this is what I'm doing here, is they turn through and they make no progress. Alright, so anyway, these are a whole series of ghosting routines that you can do for strength endurance. I hope you've enjoyed this little series, and that's the end of this little tape, and I really appreciate you having spent time with me and the Millman Experience. By the way, you can also find me on Twitter at Millman Experience or millmansquash.com, or on Instagram, the Millman Experience. Thanks a lot, and look forward to speaking to you soon. As a reminder, there is an article that goes with this about movement and choreography, and also you can find me at Millman Experience on Twitter or millmansquash.com. Thanks a lot.